Hey, it's Doris with all the books. I just got home from work, so I timed it perfectly. I snuck out 5 minutes early, and my kid, unbeknownst to me, had a pep rally, so they got to sneak out 5 minutes early, and we beat the buses out of the car rider line. If you've ever done car rider lines, you know how exciting that is. Oh. And now, 10 more wake ups till Christmas vacation. Life is good. Life is good. So I'm here with a Friday Reads brought to you from my car. I thought I would just, keep changing up the scenery for you. So exciting. I know. It's great. It's all great. Anyway, so I have finished 3 books this week. So 3 books in December. And I am, I was going to say I'm having a good reading month so far, but that's kind of, it can be taken 2 ways. I'm being quite productive in my reading. I'm not sure about the quality thus far. Anyway, I finished Fly Girls by P. O'Connell Pearson on December the 1st. I decided, how fun would it be to finish a book on the first day of December? So I grabbed this one because it's little, and I knew it had YA margins, so I thought, that's a good trick. And it was okay. The problem with it was, so this is a book about female pilots during World War II. Excuse me. Not in the military because they weren't allowed, but they were flying for the military. All sorts of, excuse me, all sorts of, fighter planes and cargo planes and bombers, everything. So the actual information about the women was quite interesting. The problem with this, though, is I didn't realize that it's a middle grades book, and I enjoy reading middle grades fantasy and, some fiction, but middle grades nonfiction is quite a lot beneath my maturity level. So I knew the majority of the information in here, but it's fun, and I'm done. Okay, and then next up we have Vita Nostra by Marina and Sergei Dyachenko, translated by Julia Maitoff Hersey. I'm sorry, I need a drink, man. I've been having a little bit of postnasal drip, and it's, irritating the passages. This is translated from Russian, and it's an urban fantasy, set kind of in a Russian setting, I guess, but not excessively so. Yeah, it's school, but it's a university setting, and it's a special school. I won't say magic because you get a lot of studying. There is intense studying in this book, and they're studying what they perceive as nonsensical things. So textbooks that they can't actually read, like makes no sense, and like the language itself even doesn't make sense, and like audio tapes that are silence. Yeah, I know. And they get recruited in weird ways too. I'm not even going to go there because it's just going to take too long to explain. I guess you could probably tell by now by my demeanor that I didn't really get along with this book. One thing that was off-putting was the translation for me. Most of it was fine, but the dialogue portions felt very stilted, stiff, and it just was off-putting for me. But that was minor. I could have been fine with that. But the book itself, I just scratched my head through most of it. And I think part of that is, if you like philosophy, if you are into that, you may get along with this book. I sat through Introduction to Philosophy in college and just hated every minute of it. That whole business of Plato and his perfect chair, I was just like, oh please. So philosophy is not for me, so this book didn't work for me in that respect. And yeah, I don't really know what else to tell you, but unfortunately, not so much. Now, this one I found delightful. This book does not try to be deep at all. There's nothing deep about it. This is a book, Anna Dressed in Blood by Kendra Blake. This is a ghost hunter, and he meets a ghost that is his match and then some, and also a couple new best friends along the way. His dad was a ghost hunter and killed when he was quite young, so he, you know, takes on the ghost hunter mantle, or knife, if you will, and, you know, the family business. And if you enjoyed Buffy the Vampire Slayer, if you've ever watched and enjoyed that series, I think that you would find this book right up your alley. It's YA, paranormal, I guess. Extremely enjoyable on an entertaining level, and so very Buffy-esque. So very, but in a good way. Like, it's its own book, but you know what I'm saying. So I finished that and enjoyed it so much that I picked up the sequel immediately, Girl of Nightmares by Kendra Blake. I just started this. I'm listening to them on audio on the way to work, commuting. So yeah, just started this, and this is a duology, so it'll end with this one, so yay. I've also been reading The Reckoning with Jacqueline from 6 Minutes from Me and Heidi from My Reading Life. So The Reckoning by John Grisham. This is not quite what I've expected. I read 3 or 4 or 5 of the John Grisham's back when he first started writing, back in the late 80s, 90s, something like that, and enjoyed him a great deal. But I remember him being more thriller-esque, and a lot of the courtroom drama. And this one is, I mean, there's definitely a mystery involved, but it's not that tense, running around on edge mystery. It's more of a historical fiction, to be quite honest. Definitely a historical fiction. And it's set in the mid-1940s, right after World War II. And it centers around our main character, who is not wealthy, but well-off man in the South in Mississippi. And he was a soldier and got out and went and started working on his family business, and then was called back for the war and ended up being a kind of a rebel. That, not a rebel, but you know what I'm saying. You don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, on the islands, the Philippines, was it the Philippines? He gets trapped with that group and gets stuck there. They're all starving, and he leads the forces that are, you know, guerrillas. That's the word I'm looking for. The guerrillas, yeah, for the U.S. against the Japanese. But when he comes back, there is drama. He kills a man. a minister, no less, just point blank range in the church as the guy is working on his Sunday lessons. So that happens in the opening chapter or two, and you're off. So historical fiction, definitely a mystery, but heavy on the historical fiction, and I am very intrigued thus far. So I'll keep you posted. I also started The Winthrop Woman by Anya Seton. This is another historical fiction, and quite a chunky one. This is my third Anya Seton, and this one centers around Elizabeth Winthrop. In 1631, she leaves England and comes over to the States in the colonies when they were first starting, the Massachusetts Bay Colony. And yeah, I've only read the first chapter, and it was her early childhood years. I think she's 7 when it starts. But she did such a good job. Anya Seton did such a good job of just wrapping you up in this little girl's personality and letting you know what kind of woman she's going to be already. Really great with that. And I've noticed a trend with Anya Seton. She likes to weigh in, follow a storyline that centers around the Protestant versus Catholic movement. And this one also brings in the Puritans. So very intrigued to continue. I'm reading this one with Katie from Katie's Book Nook and Bree from Bree Hill. So looking forward to chatting about that. So doing really well with those. And just briefly, I'm not doing well with this one. I've read 6 pages of War and Peace thus far this month. So not significant progress there. Nor am I making significant progress with The Evangelicals by Frances Fitzgerald. I've read 20 pages of this one. So, yeah. I'm supposed to be reading 20 pages a day of this one, and 30 pages a day of this one. So, 3 times 7, I'm already 210 pages behind. And 2 times 7, I'm 140 pages behind. Minus the 20 I read, so 120 pages behind. Anyway, I gotta bust a move if I'm gonna finish those this year. So, yay, happy weekend, and thanks for watching. I will be back soon. Bye.